Yes, Dr. Anurag, you can start. Dr. Anurag, are you there? Okay, I think there are some internet issues with Dr. Anurag. So I will be starting. So very good afternoon to all. Today, IIC Jaipur Institute Innovation Council of UEM Jaipur is organizing a very important session on importance of innovation in today's business scenario. And today we are having with us a renowned person, Mr. Arjay Kumar Mishra, who is a very strategic and innovative HR leader. And you can say that he has the expertise in translating the business vision into HR initiatives that improves performance, profitability, and growth, employee engagement, and also empowering leader who supports companies and top executives with a unique perspective and appreciation that human capital is every organization is greatest asset. So definitely he is a genuine influencer and thrives on tough challenges and translates vision and strategies into actionable value added goals. He has more than 19 years of experience in manufacturing individual objectives with organization objective through talent management, talent development, industrial relation, performance management system, and OD interventions. Also, he has contributed immensely by bridging the gap between industry and academia. He has been trained on TQM, TPM, lean management system, competency mapping, HR analytics, industry 4.0, and because of his you can say a very vast experience on this particular field, he has delivered more than 150 training sessions in different platforms, and definitely his views, his experience we can share with us, and we will be benefited with us. So Mr. Arjay, definitely students will be waiting for you to listen. So I hand over the session to you. You kindly please go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Dr. Pradeep, and for the nice welcome for the session, which is called the innovation, why it is so important as far as the present business scenario is concerned. So before I'll get started, I should also thank UEM for giving me this an opportunity to share with my viewpoint and also the research and whatever I have learned so far out of my experience in the field of innovation. Yeah. So good. So we are ready to go now. I'll be switching off my camera in between because of the bandwidth issue, and I hope that would be okay with everyone. And in between, whenever anybody is having any question, then they can write that in the chat board, and I'll be answering them in between, or maybe in the latter part of my presentation. Before I start, again, I would like to share this session of innovation and vis-a-vis the business scenario. These are two different topics. Innovation by itself is a different topic. Business scenario in business condition in today's parlance is also a different topic. I would like to merge both of them. What I have done, I have merged both of them so that the students and also the members, those who are part of this webinar, can correlate that with their education, correlate that with their working culture. Now, that's very important. I mean, we need to understand all those applications, whatever we have learned in our education, in our colleges, in our classes as a conceptual knowledge, how to implement it for the business result. That's very, very important as far as the innovation and business is concerned. So thank you so much once again for all the participants, and a nice good evening to all of you, and wish this my experience and my sharing will add value to your career as well as your professional growth. So as the topic says, that importance of innovation in today's business scenario. Now, which I have already shared that why it is so very important, the innovation, the importance of the innovation as far as the business scenario is concerned. So going ahead, yeah, the index is divided. What I have done, it is a very vast topic. So what I have done, so I have divided the index into three parts. The entire projection, the entire presentation, and the discussion today will be based out of in three parts. One is the purpose of innovation, and second, the classification of innovation. Here, this is very important topic for all the students specifically to understand what are the various classifications of innovation, and then for the business managers or the business leaders or maybe the faculty member, it is very important to understand the innovative mindset. So this is how the classification I have made for purpose, classification, and the innovation mindset. So I'll be starting with the purpose of innovation. Now, when we'll say the purpose of innovation, see, all of us knows that the innovation is definitely at the center stage. When we discuss across the world, when the fourth industrial revolution has happened, I'll be surely taking you through the process of industrial revolution to for the understanding. In 2011, when the fourth industrial revolution has started, then the world and the innovative minds, they thought that there is lots to do. There is lots to do. And today, in today's parlance, what we have done, I mean, if we look at in real time, the technology has already changed our life and already taken the place of human being. That's how the fourth industrial revolution is is playing the changing in industrial and technical scenario of innovation. Now, innovation is the need of the hour. That I'll show that and share why it is very important as this hour. What innovation, what kind of innovation, and why it is so very important. Then innovation is hard. It's a question mark to ourselves, or maybe the exclamatory mark to ourselves. I'll tell you some tips that whether innovation is hard or it is just easy to go. Innovation can be made easy. Then my processes I'll be sharing, and through this you can learn, or maybe you can take the tips today that how innovation, why innovation is not hard, and what methodology and what processes somebody should adapt so that the innovation can made very easy. Now we're talking about the four industrial revolutions. All of us, I mean, being it students or faculty members or the business heads, I mean, business leaders, all of us know that the first industrial revolution, the second and third, now we are at fourth industrial revolution. I mean, what was there in first? What was there in second? What was there in third? And why it is fourth? The most important innovation was there actually in the innovation one, when the bullock cart or maybe the horse riding can change into a machine. That kind of innovation we are talking about, the breakthrough innovation and something which is changed the scenario of entire industrialization, entire economy, entire technology of the world. If if I have to put the year on which the first industrial revolution has happened, it was 1760 to 1817. And what has been done there? The steam engine and the concept of factory, textile industry, all those who have. Yeah. Now the second industrial revolution, it is again from 1970 to 1962, and in that we talk about the mass production, process industry, steel industry, oil industry, electricity, power, telecom. Those are the industry which has cropped up in those period of time, which is our life, which is our system and the processes, which is our living standard. Now, when we talk about recent past, I mean 1962 to 2011, that is called the digital era. Why we call digital era? When we'll talk about the telephone, when we talk about the smartphone, when we'll talk about the personal computer and all those are started evolving in this year 1962 to 2011. And that semiconductor, personal computer and the internet started. All of us, those who are into the age bracket of say 35 to 45 and so, they could understand how this era was there when they were at their school level and when they are entering into the college. I mean, what happened? How the things were changing? What was the internet? The internet started helping them on designing the project and helping them in project earlier past, and in those era it was a drastic change in the system and processes. Now the fourth revolution which is there, that is on technology changing. Actually it is replacing human lives and changing the way we are living our life. We are in the process of everything technology driven, day in and day out. Today one product is getting launched, after 3 and 4 days that product is become obsolete. Some new product and technology is coming. There are so many players in the market. There are so many products are in the market. The consumer is actually, it's very difficult for the consumer to choose the right kind of product whatever they are needing. So the constantly changing of the consumer behavior and the constant changing in the technological specs, that is what happening in 2011 onwards, the changing scenario of Industry 4.0. Now the other thing which we discussed is that innovation is the need of the hour. Now why innovation is the need of the hour? Because today all of us are aware that the global pandemic that have just pushed everyone out of their comfort zone. Now nobody is there in the comfort zone today. Everyone is aware of the pitfalls and the repercussions whatever happened. This is certainly developed. This period has certainly developed the mindset of the people that how to be very creative, how to be more creative at home, and how to be more creative at or maybe innovative at the workplace. So this is how the mindset of the entire society, entire world has been changed. And here we have adopted the new normal of life, right? So this is how the innovation is needed with the changes of ours. Nobody knew that this is going to be something which is going to be disrupt, which is going to be reverberate the entire economy of the world. No? Now innovation is hard. Yes, it is hard. It is hard because of our mindset, because of the human mindset. We are trained to adapt into the system and processes which are ease and on which we are comfortable at. We do not want to challenge our performance by adapting new changes. Suppose with X system our performance is better, then we are not adapting Y system. Why to challenge our performance, which is already better? So that's the natural phenomenon. That's the natural tendency of human being, is to fall back on known methods to arrive at the solution. We always fall back. In most of the work environment, we tag not to making mistake, avoiding the mistake. Why to do change? So that the mistakes will be difficult for me. My performance is going to be affected. And all this scenario, all this mindset are hindrance for the innovation. And that is why the innovation is hard, because we don't experiment. And that's nothing right or wrong. It's natural phenomenon of life. It's natural phenomenon of any individual, any human being. In my experience of 21 year and whatever I have learned, I mean, in my experience, it says, and I learned this, the biggest barrier is the leadership lacking, the courage to go for a change. I mean, leadership doesn't mean that you need people for the leadership. Leadership can be self-leadership as well, self-driven as well. So leadership is a big term. I mean, that somehow is lacking when we talk about the courage to go for a change. Now, innovation can be made easy. How? Let's see. We could agree on a process where the risk of exploration can be managed. And the mindset, I am constantly talking about the mindset, where ideas and learning are welcome. Unless and until the leaders of the organization, or maybe the leaders at home, or maybe the seniors at colleges, they will not accept the failures, the innovation is going to be difficult. I'll be discussing more on this in my slide when I'll talk about the mindset change. Okay. Now, the second chapter, which is very important for all of us to understand, the classification of innovation. This classification is based out of two terms. Yeah, one is on the basis of scope, and the other one is on the basis of arbitration. So we need to understand what are the scope related and what are the other innovations are there in the system. Okay. Now this is the related to scope, and second one related to attributes. Now attributes and scopes, and what are the innovative ideas and what are the innovative processes which is there for scope and which is there for the attributes. Let's understand in detail. Number one, workbench innovation for personal efficiency and effectiveness. Now, what is that workbench efficiency innovation for personal efficiency? Now, see, most industries, most individuals in industries, they continuously innovate every day and day out, whether it is at our home, whether at our offices. We do be very creative, and we certainly do a lot of innovation for our daily work management. Now, for an example, here I have taken one example. For an example, if you'll see the example of, say, macros, how is it? If somebody learn to write the macros for their repetitive work in Excel, it is happening in industry. The individuals, they are putting efforts on learning all this. Or maybe you can say at home, if you in the winter you have innovated one recipe for your family, or maybe in the summer another recipe for your family. It is all part of the innovation which is happening in daily, day in day out with every individual. But now there is a but these are not being recognized. These are not being given the enough values what has to be given onto them. Now, why it is so? Because we do understand that this innovation needs effort towards development of innovative processes, product, services, business models, and so on. We need to put efforts on designing those processes. Now, once we design those processes of, say, supposedly we have learned how to write macros in Excel, and also we started using it. Now, understand that if you design that SOP and share that with everybody in this organization or maybe in the department, that this, please adapt this and this is going to be helpful, then you will got the recognition. A similar thing will happen in recipe making. I'm just taking two examples. There are many more examples for that, so to say. Okay. Now, second is the process innovation for bottom line. Now we talk about the bottom line. Now what happened? That most of the companies, they are continuously improving what? On their tools, on their methods, on their models, and processes used to design, develop, and produce. What produce? A product or the services for the customer. So it is again the constantly evolution of a tools, method, processes, systems, product, your designing system. Now, why constantly every company is doing that? And this is being done for getting the good margin of their product. And by thus, the bottom line of the company is going to be increased. So that mindset of process innovation, now entire process innovation. Now, why process innovation? Through process innovation, you can reduce your operating cost. Through process innovation, you can increase the quality of the product. In the process innovation, you can reduce the unvalued activities in the organization. There are various methods of doing that. And constant innovation of these systems and processes will certainly help the company to increase the bottom line. Yeah, that is what the business sense for innovation. Yeah. Now, product or service innovations for top line. Now we have talked about the bottom line. Now here we'll be discussing about the top line. Now, why top line? Because top line is also equally important when we typically look at the products and services and the processes on which we are working. So it's a continuous innovation, on product performance or maybe a novel service kind of. And for what? To become the differentiator in the market. Again, I am saying I'll be only discussing innovation with related to business today because it's a business scenario. Now, because of the competitive business world, whosoever is there in the business, they have to be the differentiator, and that word is very important. Now, how can you be differentiator? Now, differentiator only through different product lines, differentiator only through the performance of the improving the performance of the product, differentiator through improving the quality of the product, differentiator through the reducing the cost of the product. And then only you or whoever is into the business, they have to survive in the business world today. And this is very, very competitive world. Now, the classic example of that is your smartphone. Nobody was imagined that everything will be done through this small gadget. Now today, people don't require anything else than a smartphone, and everybody is having a smartphone. Now it's not that people are aspiring for smartphone, but they are affordable prices and the cheap products are also available in the market. There are different segments, different market segments, different products are for different market segments, but the value proposition everywhere is same. And that's the beauty of the innovation. That's beauty of the product, you know. And the fourth one is the business model innovation for market recapture. You know, this is a very classic system, which I'll take 2 minutes time to explain this. You know, this is nothing but the this product is there, the service is there, but how to use this product and services in a different way. This is the art of creating the value out of the same product or services by engaging the entire customer differently. Now, how to create the values, how to create the services in different way by engaging customer differently, and it's a question mark by itself. Now, for example, let us talk about the taxi service. Since childhood, we have seen that there are travel agencies or there are, different taxi providers. So you just talk to them, call them. My time is from this to this. I wanted to grow from here to there. Please come. They have the set charges. They'll say, okay, you known to me, so I'll not take 1,000 rupees. I'll give you discount of 100 rupees or something like that. Now just imagine the innovative ideas of Uber and Ola. What have they done? The business model they have changed. The same taxi service. Now the supply is more than the demand. Those who understand economics, maybe this is not a big subject which you cannot understand. But when the supply is more than the demand, and consumer and the customer has the choice, and it is readily available at your doorstep with a phone calls away. So that kind of business model has brought into by Uber. Earlier the taxi service was there, and they have just created a different kind of technology and different kind of supply and changed the mindset of the consumer and customer and provide them the service. Now it has already taken the entire business of all other taxi service business in India and abroad. And this is how the beauty of the scope. See that the innovation based out at scope is it's very large. What I have done, I have just taken few topics. I mean, very the topics and the points which is related to today's parlance, because within 1 hour talking about innovation and talking about everything, it is absolutely difficult, but I will try to squeeze as much as possible. That's why in between sometimes I'll be a bit fast, so pardon me for that, because I wanted to touch upon my entire learnings with you today. Okay, now second innovation which I talk about is based out on attributes. You know, why attributes are important, you know, why we called that is scope and this is attributes. Now attributes are important when you require the innovation for your collaborative approach and your budget constraint. When you run the business and there will be difficult to collaborate with your product, difficult to collaborate with the people, difficult to collaborate with the stakeholders. At the same time, it will be difficult to manage the budget because it is always on the constraint side. There you tend to always have the innovative ideas running around. The first of this kind of innovation is called evolutionary innovation. These are the small improvements. Yeah. So incremental changes, we all know that the incremental changes of their existing product and the services. Now, why these incremental changes of products and services are important? To be there in the market as competitive leader, or maybe the competitive player. May not be the leader, but you need to be very competitive into the market. So having this kind of improvement. So what are the method? How can you adapt to these changes? How can you adapt to this? This is a process. I mean, the process is through, say, the voice of customer, or maybe the feedback which you can get from the customer, or maybe the lesson which we have learned from our failures, or maybe uh, just to improve to be slightly aged product kind of. So these are all very basic and but important as a small improvement projects. You know? So what are the example of that? Now you can see the example like smartphone we know. Now what if I say that the smartphone memory chip is doubled, or I'll say that or I'll say that, one second, please hold on. I'll just fix my connection. Yeah, I'm back. So what I'll say that, see, the refrigerator will have better inside light, you know. All these are very small and evolutionary innovations. Yeah? And the second one is eco-adaptive innovation. Now, what is eco-adaptive innovation? That's, again, it's talk about the translation. Now, what is translation? In generally, the meaning of translation is we are converting a particular say thought into from one language to other language. You know, that's called translation. So what is that innovative translation? Then, as the translation meaning says, that innovation is one product or maybe one service which is very effective and well appreciated in one market and running fantastically well in that market. Now the similar service or maybe that product we will use in another market just to see what the customer reaction, and also ensure that customer will accept that or adapt that changes. So it's like the performed product of one business is being shifted to the other business. For an example, say uh, the food chain, or maybe the food chain or the menu of a food chain. Say for an example, if I can talk about the McDonald's. Now McDonald's entered into India, the Pizza Hut entered into India, the Domino's entered into India. They were having the similar kind of business, very successful business outside somewhere. They just replicate their business in India. The same business model they have replicated. So they're translated for a new customer and consumer. Over the period of time, they have got the market. And this is how the penetration of market is being adaptive through the innovation. Now the third point of attributes related is the peripheral innovation, the adjacent. Now what is peripheral innovation? When we create any product, you know, when we design any product or create any product for as a peripheral device, or maybe the accessories, or maybe the adjacent product, without jeopardizing or rather enhancement of our core product, the value of the core product. Now the value of the core product needs to be enhanced through giving the peripheral products. Now for an example, suppose the selfie stick with smartphone kind of. Because this is an innovation market. This is called the peripheral innovation. Now your smartphone is the core product. Your smartphone is your base product, and that price you need to be increased. That price you need to be intact, enhanced, and through giving these peripheral innovations. Likewise, there are many examples. I have just taken the example which are very related to being the human being of our life. No? Now, crisis innovation. This is called the, the, the emergency service. Now, what is crisis innovation? You have extremely limited time and to solve any problem. Extremely limited time to solve any problem. And as this innovation says, that, say for an example, if I talk about the second wave of corona which had hit India very badly. Now we did not have time for arrangement of oxygen cylinders, oxygen concentrators. And in that crisis, the entire government, maybe it is state government, maybe it is local government, maybe local bodies, maybe the central government, everybody is throughout the innovative management of crisis management. And through that, it has taken care of, this type of innovation is called crisis innovation. And which are related to attributes. Again, talk about the attributes. All the things which I am talking about is the constraints. You have constraint, then you have the survival issue, then only you have to innovate. The burst innovation, and we are talking about the rapid fire. Yeah. Now, burst innovation and rapid fire, what I mean, when your business is at stake, your customers are going away, your business is running very bad, it is affecting the employment, it is affecting the service, it is affecting the entire environment. So in that scenario, you have to be very innovative as far as business is concerned. Your financial management innovation, they are coming to play. Your entire employee life cycle management is going to become into play. Your entire cost structures are going to become into play. And these are the business related innovative ideas. I have just categorized it for the better understanding of every individual attending this webinar today. I want all of you learn the classification part of it. This is going to be, I mean, these terms are going to be very useful for you, for your career, for your professional life, all the students specifically. Yeah. So burst innovation, the classic example of Kingfisher versus Indigo. We know that Kingfisher, how it has gone and perished into the system, and what Indigo has done to become the, I mean, so they are claiming being the #1 in the segment of the aviation. Something Indigo has to do. They have. I'm not saying they are good, they are bad, they are ugly. I'm saying. Hello, am I audible, Rajsekhar? Please confirm.
There is there was a small disturbance for the last 30 seconds. So,
was it there at crisis innovation kind of?
yes, last 30 seconds, just last 30 seconds.
It was on the burst,
okay.
burst innovation.
Yes,
burst innovation. Okay, burst innovation. Okay, let me explain again the burst innovation. Now the burst innovation, which I said, when the business is at stake, the business is not doing well. Now by then, what happened? You need to be innovative to restore your business. Otherwise, your business is going to be perished. Your entire system, entire unvalue-added services need to be looked at. your cost structure, your financial structure, your employment structure, all these things needs to be looked at. And that's the classic example which I had given, is the Kingfisher versus Indigo. Again, I'll just repeat my whatever I said. I'm not saying that they are good, they are bad, they are ugly, they are fantastic. I'm only saying the kind of innovative minds they are applying at the time of, when the constraints are there. Okay. Now the next is the bold innovation, and it is again multifaceted and integrated innovation. When when the innovation requires a enormous amount of efforts and the magnitude, and it requires a lot of series of integration amongst all the people those who are working on this innovation. Number one, the efforts is going to be enormous. Number two, the integration is going to be so logical, and integration is going to be so effective that the innovation is going to be successful. And this is what is talking about the innovation between amongst all the people are working together, all the minds are working together, kind of. And the classic example of that, the rocket, whatever ISRO is launching. Yeah. Now, the next innovation is the frugal innovation. Now, what is frugal innovation? Frugal innovation is something where your resource is getting starved. You do not have resource at all. I'm sure, most of us have, seen that movie called Mission Mangal. I mean, when they have to send this into the space of Mangalyaan, and preparation of creating that Mangalyaan, and they did not have the resource with themselves. And each one of the scientists, those who are working in that project, were so innovative. And that's called frugal innovation. And for your better understanding, when the constraint of your budgetary constraint is there, when your resource constraint is there, and in industry or maybe in family, I mean, why to talk about industry? Industry is nothing but our family. Sometimes we all are running out of our budget for certain things. Then we are so very innovative by then. We chose the product which is suited to our pocket. We chose to defer our expenses. So these are the decisions why we take. We take because the presence of frugal innovation mindset. Now, all these innovation, whatever I'm saying, these are all mindsets. Yeah. Then other one is called the open innovation. Now, what is that open innovation? The external participation. Now, for an example, now I will be directly coming to an example. Say there are many industries, producing different kind of product. Talk about the automobile industry or the car manufacturer or the two-wheeler manufacturer, passenger car or two-wheeler. Are they manufacturing the entire system in their facility? The answer is no. They are using external participation. They are dependent on the external agencies for their components. And that's a collaboration. And that's the innovative idea. The make or buy decisions. Here it comes the make or buy decision. When you talk about the make or buy decision, then the mind, the innovative mind, those who are involved into the strategic making part of this organization, they will feel whether this particular product is viable for us to make inside, or it is viable for us to get the help of an external party. And for that, there are many components. We talk about the tier 2 or tier 3 kind of industry, the OEMs, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. I mean, all the people, those who are into business related and understand business, they can understand my word. Now, this is what the evolution of all these industries. So it's a collaboration, it's an external participation. They share their design, they share their processes to the component manufacturer, and they manufacture the product as per their specification and supply. And what the OEM does, they only assemble that car or maybe the two-wheeler and send it to the market for the sale. And this is very important, to understand. And yes, when there is no harm of sharing the specification, then only this kind of innovation is viable. When the specification, whatever the company is sharing, is not viable, that product, then that innovation will not work. So it's again decision of adopting what kind of innovation, and this is called the outsourcing model or maybe the franchise model. Different industries are, service industries are going for franchising model, the manufacturing industries are going for outsourcing model, and there are various industries, they are going for different kind of models. Then it is called classified innovation or secrecy. When the demand of the innovation is such that you cannot share the ideas, you cannot share the processes or the thought processes with your closed one even. And this is the kind of innovation, whatever happened is called the secrecy innovation. And this typically happened in the area of defense, strategic defense, they'll have a lot of innovations. There are a lot of movies on that, there's a secret mission, they all goes for the particular objective or innovative ideas. They all innovate with the constraint of their budget, with the constraint of their resources, but they could manage to do that. So this is called the secrecy innovation. Now this breakthrough innovation is relatively very new. Yeah. When there will be a high degree of change or maybe high degree of impact by some innovative product or maybe some changes into the existing product. So this is possible by a new product, or this is possible by changing one the existing product into new system. And for what? For getting a better market penetration, for getting a better consumer base, for getting a good quality product organization. See, all these are very important when we talk about the business. And this is the kind of innovation which is, like, for an example, the company for which I am working for, we are into smart energy meter. And there is an evolution of metering industry also. I mean, metering as a product also. Earlier there was mostly manual meter, then now it is all about the smart meter. The meter is going to be speak to the customer, meter is going to be speaking to the stakeholder, the consumer, the customer, the manufacturer. So this is how the smart energy meter is going to be. Now, for example, in the similar parlance, if I take an example of Paytm. Now, who knew that Paytm is going to be changed the entire banking system of our lifestyle? And we need not to go to anywhere but sitting one place and we are doing all our transactions. And these are all breakthrough innovations. And trust me, we also do breakthrough innovations maybe in small or maybe in a different form in daily life, but we need to identify those, we need to process those, we need to systematize those. That's what I said in my first evolutionary innovation. Wherever and whatever we do innovation, we need to document that. That's very important. Now the other one is the disruptive innovation. What is disruptive innovation? Now disruptive is nothing when a significant portion of society, or maybe the consumers, you can say, and they changed the consumer behavior, they can adapt to something else. So it's again through this innovation, you are doing something. When the fundamental breakthrough, all the entire value proposition is going to be changed. Now, for an example, if I take the example, then you may relate this disruptive innovation. Now, see, the Netflix hit the blockbuster. Now, earlier, everybody was waiting for the Friday and the first day first ticket and all. Now, what happened at Netflix? They have changed the consumer pattern. They have changed the disruptive into the system, and the entire mindset of the people has changed. This is called the disruptive innovation. Now, responsible innovation, I'll just tweak into my presentation because I think I am running out of time, lot of things to cover. So disruptive innovation, then responsible innovation is the social conscience. Yeah. Now, this example of reduce the use of plastic and all. So one language, one sentence of reduce the use of plastic, then the entire innovation is going to be changed. Open source innovation, this is social and free. Like for an example, during the time of pandemic, nobody was bothered about my sanitizer's chemical formula, whether it is going to be leaked into the market or not. Whether the ventilators, my process flow is going to be leak in the market. But openly we are sharing, take it and prepare it and freely gift it. So this is called open source innovation. Now, dark innovation and distinct innovation. These are the two innovations which are not exactly innovations, which are innovations but affecting the entire human life. And I do not want to cite the example here. Everybody here in this webinar, they understand what I am talking about. So these two only for the, so to say, these two are the innovations which are affecting the entire environment, entire human, entire life cycle. So for that, you need to understand. This is all about my presentation on the innovation classification part. Now here, how can you say what kind of innovation you know and what is that? There are some self-evaluation sheets. I mean, you need to download it. It is there in everywhere. It is there in the Google, and try to understand the questions, then answer by yourself. I think we were ABCD, FGH. Generally, I work with what kind of company. I mean, you can do it for your own self. So this is the third topic. I'll quickly just touch upon. I'll not take more than 5 minutes to touch upon here. And after that, if time permits, then any other time again, I'll be sharing my entire discussion with you. This is again very important when we talk about the innovative mindset. Now, why we struggle to innovate, and these are all the points why we struggle to innovate. Because of our frictions, inertia, energy, and momentum. As a human being, there will be a lot of resistance all the time. And our tendency is to not to do, I mean, whatever is okay, and I mean, let me just calm and quiet for some time. And these are all the innovation struggles. And how can you unshackle the past? It is the second point of mindset. Adapt to this system. I mean, this is the culture for the business. Every organization adapt to this kind of culture. Kaizen culture, TQM, TPM, Lean, Six Sigma. Trust me, all those cultures are adapted by the organization in different form, and the objective is to reduce cost, improve quality, improve customer satisfaction. Your leadership has to be rebooted, and there are bullet points, very easy to understand, and they embrace the heritage nature of innovation, align innovation strategy with overall business purpose. They stay out of the way of the people innovating. I mean, these are all the mindset. Now, Peter Drucker, the guru, what he said, in innovation there is a talent, there is ingenuity, and there is knowledge. But when it is said and done, what innovation requires is hard, focused, and purposeful work. That's what I said. When we adopt any system, the purpose of every system is customer satisfaction, improvement in quality, and reduction in cost, or optimization of cost. Yeah. This is reignite creativity. Give me a second. Yeah. So this is 1 second. I can see the screen. So let me off my camera for. Okay. So reignite creativity. So the creativity, how to reignite the creativity, and this is again a very important space. No, I mean this is again a practice which we need to do in our business, in our daily life. Embrace and exploration of acceptance failure. This is very important. Unless and until we accept the failure, we allow others to speak out, allow others to do the fail. I mean, we need to celebrate failure. Why? I mean, sometimes it's so very important to learn from those mistakes. And what happened? I mean, through that, the mediocre team becomes the high performance team, and the average leader can become a strong leader. And this is what happened when you lend your ear and understand what is there into the system. Mindset in tough time. I mean, situational leadership, which probably in some other time I'll talk about. If possible, then I'll share what are the leadership styles and what are the mindset of the leadership. Okay, this is again some self-evaluation with related to. Now this is all about my presentation today, and I'm sorry I have to very quick in my last mindset presentation. If at all any time in future the time permits or UEM Jaipur will have collaborate again, then we will certainly I'll be touching upon and I'll be sharing those in details with everyone. Yeah, so thank you, Rajsekhar, you were there. I have just done with my presentation.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Arjun. Anurag, are you there? Anurag?
Yes, sir, I'm here. Yes, sir.
Yes. So can
So,
you go ahead with the questions?
yes, sir. So we have questions, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, please tell me the difference between Industry 3.0 and Industry 4.0.
Oh, yes. Industry 3.0 and Industry 4.0. Now, Industry 3.0 is the era when the innovative minds have started working towards the technological advancement. When the people are thinking about the personal computers, or maybe launching of phones, or maybe launching of internet usage and all, the web technology and all are there in this peripheral. I mean, this is what we talk about the industry 3.0. Now, when industry 4.0 comes, it is actually ease the life of everyone. The artificial intelligence, the machine learning, the cloud computing. These are the topics under human. I mean, if I talk about the industry, the automation and the I mean, all these things which have started in industry 4.0. Industry 3.0 and industry 4.0, there's a drastic change in the mindset of the people, in the leadership, in the mindset, in the approach, towards automation, towards technological advancement. Every day there will be a disruptive changes which is happening. Lot of player. If I talk about the market, there will be lot of producer and lot of consumers in the market. If I talk about the economy, it's an open market. Yeah. Next question, please.
Yes, sir. Sir, there is one more question. One student is asking that how this pandemic has changed the functioning of industries and what we can expect in next 5 years related to the hiring in industries and their functioning.
Yes, the student whosoever is asked is certainly a very valid question. As far as industry is concerned, everybody has to be survive in this world. This is what we have learned during the time of pandemic. Correct? Now, whether it is human being or whether it is industry or whether it is any of the organization, if we talk about the education institute, they also learn a process of surviving. The human being, they also learn the process of surviving. So as the industry is also learning the process of surviving. So if we'll talk about the industry, then people will be there. I mean, because the human resource is going to be there for working of the development of the product. Now, what will happen? What will happen? Only the skillful or only the employees with their multi-diversity attitude or maybe the adaptability to work in any kind of culture, they will be certainly going to get the edge than the others. There, like in my presentation, what I say is the industry is constantly innovating for making them different from others. That's the differentiators. Here, the students, those who are studying in UEM or any industry, in any education, they have to be different from others. And the competition is definitely going to be very high. Industry, yes, is going to be employed. Industry is coming to the campus. Genus itself is going for the campuses since last 3-4 months. So it's a positive sign for hiring because we have to survive. We have to constantly engage our redesigning, development of the products and all. You know, so that's why it's very important. And your answer,
Sir,
yes, the industry is going to be survive. The industry is going to be grow because the economy is going to be grow and the employment is also going to be there.
sir, there is one more question. It says that which technology will be dominant in the IT sector after 5 years?
Oh, it's a very technical question. I mean, which I mean, I guess he or she must be a computer graduate or maybe electronics graduate. I mean, if that is so, then IT industry, the technology which is there in IT industry, if I am there to answer this, there will be, we are hearing that a lot of phishing is happening, a lot of cyber security problems are there, you know, lot of data is getting corrupted. One, this is certainly going to be a big data analysis. This is going to be the next. I mean, if we talk about the AI based IT systems or maybe the machine learning based IT systems, or if I can say the filtration or the cyber security based IT systems, these are the systems which is going to be there in near future in IT services.
Sir, I have received one more questions.
Yeah, please.
That will robots replace humans in all sectors in future due to innovations?
Robot, see, I am not qualified enough to answer this question, but yes, I am answering your question. Robot can change the human or cannot change the human, that we know better, because human is having the sense, the five sense organ, which we learned in our kindergarten schools and all. And those sense organs are sometimes very important, because most of the work, whatever we are doing or we will do in future, whether it is business, whether it is individual decisions, most of the decisions in our life we take on the basis of our gut feelings, and that gut feelings is very, very important. Most of the time in business also, while the decision making, we take the gut feelings decisions, and those are clicks, and the innovation is what? The innovations are not proven innovations, no? These are gut feelings. I am going to test and try this, whether this is going to be disruptive into the market, whether it is going to be change the behavioral pattern of the customer, consumer. So this is what it is. So though, again, I am saying the world is going to be very, very competitive. The survivors, only the high potential students and high potential leaders in the industry. So everybody has to work hard to become high pots. Be it student, be the differentiator. Again, I am coming back to that point. So robot cannot take your place because of you have the sense organ, you have the gut feelings.
Sir, I have one more question from one student. He says that
Yeah, please.
how work from home affects the productivity of the employees. Is it does it increase or it decreases?
The answer is increase, the answer is decrease, both. It all depends. Again, I could not get enough time in my mindset, the innovative mindset. There I had this point to address. I mean, why I said it is increasing or why I said it is decreasing, it is all depends the kind of trust and the kind of alignment which the boss and subordinate or the system is in place. I mean, if your system is so good, if the trust factor is so good, then those industries are succeeding and improving in the model of work from home. The industry where the review system or the alignment and the trust factor or the system which is there aligned with the systems in offices are not so very aligned, there the productivity is going to be decreased. So it's again, the answer is yes or no, and depending on the leaders, how we are going to be monitored, what systems we are making in place, then it is improved.
Now there are no more questions in the chat box, so I'll just request Dr. Pradeep Sharma, sir.
Yeah, please.
Thank you, Dr. Anurag. I think the students have got the questions definitely answered from Mr. RJ. So I'll request Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, Vishjoy Chatterjee, sir, to address the meeting. He was facing some internet issues, so he couldn't join in the initial part of the session. So he's with us right now. Sir, kindly give some words of inspiration for the students.
Words of inspiration. I often talk to the students and give them the words of, try to give them the words of inspiration. But over here, I would like to tell something different. I could not join this for the first 5 minutes, and then I joined this, and I was in this session all throughout listening to Mr. RJ Mishra. Now, over here, I can see Professor Pradeep Sharma, Professor Anurag. You tell me, like, I have heard many lectures of innovation prior to this. Did you ever hear any such lecture with so much of details of innovation given within 1 hour? Did you ever hear?
Never, sir, never. No, it was wonderful.
I never heard. I never ever heard, and I'm so thankful to Mr. Raja Sarkar that he brought in or called Mr. Arya Mishra, and I am so much thankful to Mr. Arya Mishra that you accepted the invitation and gave such an enlightening speech to our students. I have recorded this session, sir, without your permission. I take your permission now to please allow me to keep this session in our YouTube channel and share it with all our students once more and tell them to hear that what is innovation and how you can do it. You firstly go through this lecture and then only we will discuss further. So I take your permission for that. I hope that I have your permission.
Oh, yeah, surely, surely. See, good evening, Dr. Vishwajit or Mr. Vishwajit. I beg your pardon. I mean,
Yes,
sometimes
yes,
it's very difficult.
Yes, Dr.
Yeah,
Vishwajoy,
at the
with
moment.
God's grace, but that's really not important.
No,
Important is
it's
the amount of knowledge that you have given today. I don't believe that I, talking to the students, could give so much of knowledge prior to this regarding innovation. I'm really thankful to you.
oh, it's our responsibility. You know, that's what I mean, if you look at the credentials which shared in earlier, one part of my life is always to help the PPP model through which I would like to help the industry, the coming of students and all, be conceptually, I mean, very strong into the industry, and then only our economy and everything is going to be, go high. And unless and until we know something, I mean, whatever I have shared, sir, your words are very enlightened to me that this is again a part of whatever I have learned so far. See, while you are working, you are working, I am working, we learn so many things over the period of time, having 20 years of experience in this field. So whatever we have shared, absolutely, you don't need to be my permission. You can share that with the students. The more they will be learning these things, the more they will be effective, the more they will be a good person in their life, and that's what our objective is all about.
Yes, sure. So it
Thank you
was
so much.
wonderful.
So, yeah. Please go ahead, Rohit Sharma, please go ahead.
So,
Yes, sir. So thanks a lot, sir. Thanks,
thank you.
Arjun Mishra, sir. And definitely students will be benefited with your knowledge, and you can say it's a vast ocean of the knowledge and the experience what we shared today. And thank you, Dr. Anurag. Thank you, Mr. Raja Sarkar, for this wonderful session organization. And I hope, sir, now we can conclude because the no more questions are there, and the students are definitely looking forward for venturing into this particular innovation and how they can start the startups and how they can go ahead with patents and like that. So this is our function, sir. We at UEM Jaipur have Institute Innovation Council running since 2018, and we are doing quite good in this particular thing. We were being, you can say, 4.5 star rating last year, and this year also we are striving hard for this particular improvement on that particular section. So thank you very much, sir,
Great.
for this wonderful session. And we are looking forward that you, whenever you find time, you can visit the campus, and we have our innovation lab in our campus in which we used to produce, means our students used to produce different products, industry projects also, as well as industry products like drones, 3D printers, and you can say IoT based devices they are developing on in the innovation lab. So whenever you find time, you can visit that and can motivate our students, sir.
Oh yeah, my pleasure. Absolutely my pleasure. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Dr. Vishwajit, Mr. Anurag Hamilton, and Professor Dr. Pradeep Kumar. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.